Hey there, it's Vickie Howell here to show you how to do the special stitches that make up the main portion of the wrist factor wrist warmer. The first special term that comes up is an LT or a left twist. So I'm set up here to do it, and you'll notice I'm using different color yarn than what is shown in the modeled picture just because it's easier to see the lighter colors on camera. So for a left twist, you're going to work with 2 stitches at once that are on your left hand needle. So it says that we need to knit through the second stitch, which is this one, through the back loop. So you're going to come in through the back and knit it, but don't let it drop off the needle, the old stitch. See, it's still there. And then you're going to knit normally through the front stitch or the first stitch, not working through the back loop. And then you slip them both off. And what that does is it basically swaps places with them. It twists them without increasing or decreasing. So I'm going to show you again. In the pattern it calls to purl too after that, so I'm just working those. Okay, so let's do another left twist. So you knit through the back loop of the second stitch, not slipping it off the needle, the left hand needle. Work through the front loop of the first stitch, only this time pulling them both off. And you can see you get this little twist as they swap places. All right, the next special stitch that we're going to do, we're actually going to do 2 different ones right in a row. The first one is the 2-stitch RPC, which just means right purl cross. And it's essentially just a tiny, tiny cable. So we're going to bring in our little cable needle friend here. And this just happens to be the type that I use for this project, but if you have a hook one or a straight or even honestly, just a safety pin would work because we're just working with 1 stitch. Whatever works for you is cool with me. All right, so it says to slip the first stitch onto the cable needle. So you put it on the cable needle and hold to the back, which means that you can hold it if you figure out how to have a third hand. And I just dropped my needle, that happens. Or you can hold it with your left hand and kind of pinch it with your other one. I just let it hang out in the back. And you can see here, just hanging out. And then knit the next stitch. And then you bring that stitch from the cable needle up for its little turn again, and it says to purl. And then you just purl it right off. And see, I'm letting all my other stitches just hang out on this needle over here. And you purl that off. And that's all there is to it. You've done like this little tiny cross. So next up, we're going to do the reverse. We're going to do a 2-stitch LPC, which is just a left purl cross. Again, it's going to call for slipping the first stitch onto the cable needle. Only this time we're going to hold it to the front. And you can either hold it, like I said before, or you can just let it hang out. Then we purl the next stitch on the needle, and then bring that stitch on the cable needle up again and knit it off the needle. And that's your left purl cross. So let me show you both of those again. So it's time to do a right purl cross again. So that's the 2-stitch RPC. So we slip one onto the cable needle, hold it to the back, knit the next stitch, and then purl the stitch off the cable needle. That was our right purl cross. Now we're ready to do our left. So once again, we're going to slip the first stitch onto the cable needle, this time holding it in front, We're going to purl this one, and it gives you these instructions, so you don't have to memorize this, I promise, on the pattern. And then knit the stitch right off the cable needle. And you're just going to continue that all the way across as the pattern calls for, alternating between the 2-stitch RPC and the 2-stitch LPC. The last stitch for our wrist warmer is the right twist, and it's really the easiest of the bunch. So I'm all set up and ready to go. For the right twist, you're going to knit 2 together, so you go through 2 loops and knit them as if they were one, only you don't slip them off at all. Instead, you go in between them and you knit the first stitch again and then slide them both off. And that switches their positions. So let me show you again. First I need to purl 2 as called for in the pattern. And then it's the RT, the right twist. So I knit 2 together, leaving the old stitches on my left hand needle and re-knitting just the first stitch and pulling them off. And the combination of all those stitches in the 8-row pattern gives you this really cool, kind of almost honeycomb design, but with more of a crisscross weave to it. And when you do it in stripes and 2x2 stripes like I have here, it kind of makes it a bit more modern, but you could go solid color and go traditional too, and it would be just as nice. All right, I hope that helped.